last 6 years out of
FREETAK,
a
bro.
55-year sentence given to him by a jury. Prior to this, he was on house arrest
KK would
for
be one
8
of the
months
biggest. I
when
don't care.
suddenly
I
he
don't
sent
care.
out a tweet
I
stating
don't
he
care.
had enough. He
KK
and his
would be
best
one of the
friend cut
biggest.
off their ankle monitors and said they were going on the run, and if police wanted them, they were going to have to come
FREETAK to
find them.
backwards.
It would take
I
U.S.
don't care if he
Marshals
killed
a
like 20
3-month
people.
nationwide search when they eventually
Free on
apprehended him on the other side of the country, with TK taunting them every step of the way.
KK-47.
Eventually, on June 30th, 2017, he was captured. But he had one more trick up his sleeve to show the world. Just hours after his arrest, a music video to his song titled The Race was published on a YouTube channel. After social media got a hold of it, there was no going back.
I'm not getting affiliated.
Almost overnight, TK would have a viral hit on his hands. People were now tuning into this story of a 17-year-old kid.
Yo, that pick is so hard, bro. That pick is crazy.
You couldn't even help but watch it.
That pick is crazy.
Nobody at the time knew the severity of his crimes. The blood of 2 innocent people had been shed.
Tamor McIntyre ever so slightly rolled his head to the side as a judge announced his 55-year prison sentence for the murder of Ethan Walker.
Now at 22 years old, he says he never had the chance to be an adult. One of his co-defendants, who was a white female, only got 10 years of probation. But TK was ultimately sentenced to 55 years in prison for just one of the murders. This led to him stating if he was white, he wouldn't have received such a harsh punishment.
Damn.
All he wants is a second chance.
You got the world going crazy right now? I heard something about it.
I was terrorizing, you was kicking rocks, nigga. I was fighting Jules, Nemo, you...
Tamor McIntyre was born June 16, 2000 in Long Beach, California, in Deep Crips territory.
Oh, he from Cali?
Both of his parents were gang members, and even though his dad was always in and out of prison, his mom was still active with the Baby Insane Crips, while raising the 2 kids, him and his sister Kayla. But things really took a turn for the worse when his dad was doing a 7-year run in prison for a deal gone bad in 2002.
Dang.
Without a father figure around, it was hard for him to find guidance. Eventually, their mom was unable to raise them, and they soon found themselves in the foster care system, bouncing around from different families who ultimately didn't want them.
Been in foster care since we were like...
That's sister? I didn't even know TK had a sister.
Damn near all our life. We never stayed with our parents. We kind of stayed in different foster homes, bouncing around.
This was him and his sister's childhood as they stayed in the foster care system, and they said they never really experienced Christmas as a kid. Eventually, his mom did escape the gang life, and she relocated the family about 4 hours away to Las Vegas. They ended up only spending about a year there until 2009, and that's because his dad was released after serving his 7 years. Being forced to Texas was the last thing they wanted, but Tamor was enrolled in elementary school and then eventually middle school. Still, he and his sister felt trapped with their dad, who by now had started to abuse them badly for the smallest things. He didn't want to think about it, and he wanted to be anywhere else but home, so he stayed at friends' houses as much as he could. Now the streets welcomed him, and he welcomed
Yo, how
the
is he finding these pictures and videos?
Bitch, I'm 15 and I don't fuck with 12. All you niggas Microsoft, so tell me. I love
In 2014, he was a freshman at Martin High School, but most of his time was spent freestyling with his friends. They called themselves the Daytona Boys. They were rowdy and loud and would rap and smoke weed whether they went to school that day.
I got Zah right here.
3 people made up the Daytona Boys: Eric Johnson or Santana Sage, Jalen Bell or Pimps,
Free
and
Santana,
Tamor, who now rapped as TK-47. In addition, they had a manager named Ezra who was important to the team and handled everything behind the scenes. To
Dang,
them,
a whole bunch
Boys was
of
a
jits
brotherhood,
is going
and the group
crazy.
knew they had something special, so they figured why not start uploading on SoundCloud. But even with music in his life, he just couldn't stay out of trouble. This old tweet shows a letter of him being expelled from high school after he brought marijuana on grounds.
Damn.
He didn't want to go back to school and he couldn't go back home, so nothing really mattered. TK would often sleep over Pimp's house at night, and after being kicked out of high school, they only grew closer. He was on his own at 15 years old.
Damn.
Now his full attention was on his music and social media, pushing the Daytona Boys as much as he could, being seen in interviews before anyone even knew who they were.
TK-47 from Daytona Boys.
Pimpies from Daytona Boys. Shout out to my nigga Ezra.
And with their manager's help, they were even booking shows. After their shows would run into 2 a.m. and in the night, they were in the streets doing what they believed they had to do, robbing, stealing, and toting guns, and anyone who got in their way would learn with death.
Dang.
Shooting involved an exchange of words between 2 carloads of people who just left a party New Year's morning 2016.
On December 31st, 2015, the Daytona Boys were at a New Year's show in Arlington and finished around 2 a.m. Santana
Whoa.
Sage was the only one with the
Hey.
car, and he always drove everyone
Whoa.
around, with
Yo.
TK and Pimps in the front
Whoa.
and back.
Hey.
They left and pulled
Oh
up to
no.
a stoplight when another
Whoa.
vehicle pulled
What
alongside
happened?
them. From here forward, it's unsure what exactly happened next. But we do know that
Free
Santana Sage
Santana,
fired a
bitch.
gun into the other vehicle, killing a 21-year-old college student, Sarah Mushlanger, in cold blood, driving off with TK and Pimps as the passengers. He was later arrested after police used his Twitter account to match the vehicle.
It was a series of Twitter
No, that's
posts that
tough.
they say led,
Rip her though, for
led
real,
them
for real.
to Johnson
Rip the
all the
white
way
woman.
from this New Year's Eve party that they say he attended.
His defense was that the Daytona boys
That
were
was
being called
racist.
racial slurs by the other car, and that provoked Santana,
You
but he only
stupid
meant to scare them with the
nigga.
gunshots. But it didn't matter.
Yeah.
The innocent girl was dead, and her parents were left
Yeah,
to
that's
wonder
actually.
why.
We'll be okay.
TK and Pimps, however, were both minors and faced no charges. Their names weren't even mentioned in court. And when you can just walk away from something that big, it makes you feel invincible. After
No
a 6-month
wonder he went
trial,
crazy.
The jury only took 3 hours to find Santana Sage guilty and gave him 44 years in prison.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Eric Jamal Johnson, guilty of the offense of murder.
TK was still only 15 years old at that time. He had no money, nowhere to live, and was not legally allowed to work. He needed a way to survive, and he had to do something. On July 26,
Bitch, I'm
2016,
15, but I don't fuck
TK,
with 12.
Pimps, and 5 others would formulate a plan. Sean Robinson,
Yo, he chopped.
Arian Merritt, Ariana Barrett, Megan Holt, and a minor named Mia. Together, they made a plan to rob Mia's boyfriend, 17-year-old Zachary Bellet, while he was inside of his home. Their plan would go like this. Zachary and his roommate Ethan were staying at a house located on the 1500 block of Mansfield, Texas. TK and the 6 others met in an apartment where they gathered weapons and talked over the
Wait, no, hold on, wait. Did that bitch just set up her only boyfriend? Hold on. I just realized what they just said there.
17-year-old Zachary Bellet.
Hold
Lotharian
on.
Merritt, Ariana Barrett,
Did I hear that
Megan
right?
Holt, and a minor named Mia.
You, Mia.
Together, they made a plan to rob Mia's boyfriend, 17-year-old
Nigga, yo, DTB, bro.
Zachary Bellet, while he was inside
DTB,
of his
bro.
home.
DTB,
Their plan
bro.
would go like this.
Set you up.
Zachary
That's
and his
crazy.
roommate Ethan were staying at a house
DTV,
located
bro.
on the 1500 block of Mansfield, Texas. TK and the 6 others met in an apartment where they gathered weapons and talked over the plan. Pimps got brass knuckles and 2 of the men grabbed guns. TK was unarmed and says he told the group to have his back in case anything went down. Mia and her 2 friends Ariana and Megan left to Zachary's house around 5 p.m.
Nah,
They made it
y'all
seem
are
as
so
if they just wanted to
cruel.
smoke and hang out. But
Y'all
what
are
Zachary
cruel.
didn't know was that TK, Pimps, Sean, and Lotharian were waiting down the street in a car for a text message. It seemed simple enough, but
Still
that
free
night
TK
their
though.
plans quickly fell apart. When the 3 girls arrived, they were surprised to see there was a lot more people in the home than they expected, and this pushed their plans back by hours. But they couldn't wait forever. 10 p.m. was approaching. TK and the others became impatient as well, feeling like it was now or never. The girls decided to go ahead with their plan and made their way to the door to unlock it when no one was looking. 4 men burst into the home, 2 of them armed with guns. Sean held Zachary at gunpoint and Lotharian held Ethan Walker at gunpoint, with TK and Pimps still looking for anything of value, but they came short of what they were promised. The next few minutes happened fast, but when they hesitated, Lotharian panicked and without even remember doing it, he shot Ethan Walker in the stomach, killing him. Sean would panic at the same time after hearing the first shot go off, and he would shoot Zachary, striking him in his shoulder, but only injuring him. They knew they messed up, and it was only a matter of time of when they got caught. In this now famous video that shows TK crying during his interrogation, prosecutors and investigators were trying to figure out what exactly happened that night. He finally broke down and admitted to robbing, but he says he never shot or knew that anyone would be killed.
New at 6, video of teen rapper TK as police question him about his role in a deadly home invasion in Mansfield.
He had just turned 16 years old and was being held in juvenile detention for 2 weeks until an adult could pick him up. His sister Kayla had just bought her apartment after saving up for months and could now be his guardian since she turned 18.
I had got my apartment. Like I said, we didn't have a lot of family like that. In Kimbo, you get released. Juveniles get released. At some point, they're going to get released. You know, so like, he got released to me. I had my apartment. I was 18.
He was officially released by a juvenile court judge only if he agreed to wear a constant surveillance ankle monitor. Pimps was also released on house arrest and stayed close with TK, where they would talk online every night. Police kept Kayla's apartment on constant surveillance and pulled over anyone who left their building. TK spent most of his time online, tweeting out things like this, asking his friends to come over and record since he was on house arrest. Releasing only a few songs on SoundCloud at the time, he was saving the rest for something else. The world hadn't really heard of TK's name yet, but he saw a marketing opportunity where nobody else did. From July of 2016 all the way to March of 2017, almost 8 months, he stayed locked in his room thinking about his next move. The stress was getting to him. Although only 16, he was looking to be charged as an adult.
Dang!
He had no lawyer, no money, and didn't know what was going to happen to him. Then he had an idea.
Blast credit phones like a vase. Pump a nigga, then I go out my way.
The race.
On Sunday, March 26,
The race was
2017, late into the night, TK would post this now infamous tweet saying he was done with house arrest, and social media would spread it around.
You don't have to catch me
He
on
called Pimps and the
hood.
two made a
Crazy.
plan. They would both cut their ankle monitors off and make it clear to the world that this was all a game to them. And if police wanted them, they were going to have to play hide and seek. They needed to get out of town, and their first stop would be 3 hours away in San Antonio, where they lay low for a few weeks. TK had no regard for being wanted. He was spotted by fans at malls or even ordering food at local spots. Pimps had been messaging a photographer for a few days named Mark Salvador, who lived around the San Antonio area, and they were planning to meet up to take pictures.
This is
But
dude
in
they killed
reality,
for why?
TK and Pimps needed money, and they planned to rob an innocent man of his camera equipment. They planned to meet around 5 p.m. near an empty parking garage. Mark would show up and hop into the car to smoke, and when he got inside, they would take everything he had and then forcefully kick him out of the vehicle. But when this went down, things didn't go according to plan.
What happened?
Again. Mark began yelling as loud as he could for help, and he ran toward the street. They sped up after him, trying to run him over, but he landed on the hood and held on as they drove off. They had to pull into a Chick-fil-A parking lot nearby to get him off. When the car stopped, Mark got up, stomped on the windshield as hard as he could, breaking it. This agitated TK, and he allegedly leaned out the window and shot him, flinging his body onto the ground and leaving him there to die. Unknowing that
Bro, I don't get why people freaking view their freaking equipments more than this all this freaking jewelry, money, all this equipment more than your life, bro. That could be replaced. Your life can't be replaced, bro. Let's give
this
it
was
up.
all captured by a nearby
Take your L.
surveillance. Now only one thing mattered to
get back
TK
later.
and Pimps. They had the camera equipment and a little bit of money to get to their next stop, but they needed to stop by home in Arlington first.
FREETAYK and a bit. Lose that baby. I'm a winner.
By now, San Antonio police had already tied TK and Pimps to the murder of Mark from last month at Chick-fil-A. Realizing they needed to leave immediately, they planned to go on a 23-hour car ride to New Jersey, where they knew a few people and a place to stay. Any money they had left would be used just to get there, and they needed every dollar. He even had someone willing to do a music video for free if he went to Jersey. By now, it was early June. Police were receiving tips on his whereabouts, posting wanted posters in areas they believed the two to be. Of course, TK only saw this as another marketing opportunity and decided to make a song about his race from the police.
He saw it as a marketing opportunity. When he saw it as a marketing
It worked
opportunity,
though. It worked like crazy, but
the race.
it also
He's running around. He's showing they got my face on this, whatever. Poked fun at the whole process of people actually looking for him.
It was perfect timing, and to make it better, he wanted to release the song on his birthday.
That was his birthday
Those
when it
following his
released?
SoundCloud and Twitter were the first to hear the song, but there was no video just yet. TK, along with the help of a cameraman, would film the music video to the race the following day, and he didn't charge him a penny for it. It would only take about a day to edit the video, but it was ready whenever TK was. The two spent their last weeks of freedom hiding and eluding the law in New Jersey. Marshals could tell they were getting close to capturing him, and at this point, it was simply a matter of when.
trying to beat a case. Fine, beat that case, bitch. I did a race. Skirt. Me and on that Shelly's face.
Exactly 2
Eli
weeks
Brown
after his
freaking
birthday,
force like
both
he's
were
good.
eventually apprehended in a New Jersey home. A total of 3 months spanning 96 days, and the race had finally ended June 30th, 2017.
Damn.
But TK still had one more trick up his sleeve, and he wanted the whole world to know his story before he went down. Just 2 hours after he was arrested, the music video to the race was uploaded to YouTube. The story of this shooter kid who ran from the US Marshals and filmed a music video while doing
Yeah,
it.
that shit went
People were
crazy.
instantly engaged, and
Like,
social
wow.
media pushed it to every corner of the
Like,
internet.
wow.
People
Like,
couldn't help but tune into the song as it
hey,
was
yo,
getting
DJ
hundreds
Ghost.
of thousands of views every day, showing no signs of slowing down. Some of the first remixes and endorsements by
Hey, yo,
other
YBN
rappers
in
showed
America
up,
when it
and
used
the
to be
hashtag
good.
FREETAYK was being posted, but nobody really acknowledged what he was now facing. Now, law enforcement wanted to make an example out of TK, and
Yeah, that's
Texas
tough.
shows no mercy for the crime of
Yeah, that's
murder.
tough.
A month after being arrested, a judge ruled to sentence him as an adult at 17 years old. But in the outside world, the race had gotten almost 20 million views by now, and some record labels were taking notice. He would still sign a deal amid 2 murder charges. Using all of his past songs, they released a project titled Santana World, with the race headlining the project, and of course, it was very successful.
Yeah, I went crazy.
Over the course of the next 6 months, the race would accumulate over 100 million views, including a remix from 21 Savage and Young Nudy, making him one of the only artists in history to have a massive hit song and never perform it. Yet
Yeah,
he
that's
still appeared to
crazy.
have high hopes of beating his case and coming out the other
If
side
he
a free
somehow
man.
beats it, bro,
To
oh
him,
my
living
god,
in jail
TK
was
would be
only a
huge.
temporary thing, and he would soon be out. But
If he
now,
actually
early into
beat this shit.
2018, sentences for the 2016 murder of Ethan
Yeah,
Walker
but rip,
began
bro.
being handed out.
Rip. Hey, bitch. My Glock is very hard. Hey,
The
it's
first to
very
go down
hard.
was
Hey.
Megan Holt, who was sentenced to 20 years in February. The
Damn.
courts recognized her as the mastermind behind the whole thing, while Mia, Zach's girlfriend, had been cooperating and working closely with the police, and in exchange was only given a 10-year probation sentence. The dominoes around TK were starting to fall. He had already been denied bond, and now the state district judge was upset with the internet's support for him. Here's what he said. It's my understanding that people throughout this country have free TK signs up, and this court has a problem with that. Just after his bail was denied, Letharian Merritt was also sentenced to 40 years after being named the person who shot Ethan Walker and the gunman. Later in June, the media reported that TK was being sued by Mark Salvador's parents for $1 million in damages for the Chick-fil-A killing. This is after finding out he had become a superstar since his capture almost a year before. The following month in July, the parents of Ethan Walker and Zachary Belote would follow suit, seeking an additional $1 million from the profits made off of the race. While this is happening, Adam22 was able to get an exclusive 10-minute phone interview from jail where TK would tell the world he was going to be out soon.
That's crazy to think about. That you probably would have already seen the world right now if you weren't locked up. Like there's crazy amount of opportunities that be available to you right now.
But he would not be as
During this
big
interview,
though.
he also made a huge
Let's be
mistake
real.
by
Let's be real. He would not be as big if he never did the race. It's a blessing and a cursing, just the same as juice roll with the pills.
admitting he had an iPad in
feel
his
me.
jail cell.
Bro, it's snitch on himself.
Like I got an iPad, I be listening to music in this house.
Just days later, he would have a shakedown where the iPad was found, with Adam later even stating he felt guilty for it happening.
The management did not ask me to remove the part where he talked about having an iPad. And so then he gets in solitary, all kinds of whatever additional charges because he had an iPad and he's just in jail using the iPad.
By August, TK transferred from the Tarrant County Jail in Texas to a maximum security Long Evans Correction Center, being put into a solitary confinement cell for 23 hours a day. But he never lost his positive optimism, and he posted a picture of himself on Twitter. The caption read, "Live from the gates of hell."
Sipping the purple like spiral. She said she ain't heard from 10K in a while. The image on my tee is the crocodile.
The murder charges for Ethan Walker were coming to a close, and another sentence was handed to Ariana Barrett for aggravated robbery. In exchange for her testifying against the remaining 3 men, she was only given 25 years.
Damn,
A
that's
week
still a
after
lot.
that,
But
Sean
damn.
Robinson was given 40 years for the murder. Pimps and TK were still left waiting for their sentence, both indicted for a second murder charge of Mark Salvador. Pimps was even offered a deal to testify against TK, but he never turned his back.
W
To him,
mans.
it was still a brotherhood there, and loyalty was forever. But in November of 2018,
He snitched.
Pimps would pay the ultimate price for his crimes, pleading guilty to 2 counts of aggravated robbery of Ethan Walker and Mark Salvador, being given 30 years.
Oh, I thought you were about to
Just
say
like
something
that,
crazier.
TK's best friend was gone. Now he was the final man standing, and the world wanted to know what was going to happen to him. But no one as much as he wanted to know.
Then hit him with like
The jury
45
deliberated
years
for
or
a
something
little
like that.
longer
That's
than
crazy.
3 hours today
55
here
years
before
something like that.
deciding
Like,
on
whoa.
that 55-year sentence.
55 years is still crazy to
In
me.
July
Like,
of
whoa.
2019, his
Whoa.
trial
That's
finally
more than
began.
half your. Whoa,
3 years
whoa,
of evidence and
whoa.
testimony
God,
being
that's like
gathered,
a
prosecutors had
third,
a strong
third,
case.
fourth of your life.
He pleaded guilty for aggravated robbery, but not the
Bro,
murder.
you gonna die and
His
they're not.
defense
I ain't gonna
argued
lie.
that he was a minor who played the least significant role,
Niggas most
but
likely
it was
gonna die in
apparent the
that
jury
bitch.
had already heard enough. The lyrics for the race were legally being used against him, and they even stated that he thrived off the violence and showed no remorse for his actions. His trial only lasted
Fucking
1 week,
thug.
and by that Friday, the jury unanimously decided that he was guilty.
Yo, they should have a studio in jail,
Tamor
bro.
says he was only
Imagine he
16 and misguided at the time when this all happened.
Yo, imagine he had a studio in jails, bro. That'd be crazy. Like, keep those niggas locked up. Let's make them drop some music.
Claiming he was never given a chance to be an adult. His misguided childhood is sad, but should never be used as an excuse
Yeah.
for taking the lives of others. Turning 22 years old from behind a cell, TK has definitely matured and is more open to talking about his treatment in prison. And he argues the question, is he rightfully owed a second chance to make things right?
I mean, I'm gonna give you my little cup of tea on it. I feel like TK deserves a second chance, bro. People did worse than he give those niggas. I mean, I feel like he should have got like, I don't think 55 is OD. I feel like he should have got like 20, 25, because he wasn't even the one that shot the first dude. I feel like he is 20 or 25, bro. Like 55 is crazy. He could have cut the time. He deserved to be in jail, but not that long. The story Lonely in a few days. I don't even listen to Story Lonely, but I'll check that out.